It's time for the final update. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Josh here with Terradrift, and you've probably seen a video about these shoes before, but this is my final update. This is where we say goodbye to the Adidas Terrex GTX R2 hiking boots. Yes, it's very sad. Now this video is coming to you a little bit late. I've actually already retired these shoes, but I wanted to tell you about my experience with them. It's been like a year and a half, and they couldn't take the heat. They couldn't stand up to what I was throwing at it anymore. Now before I actually get into how these shoes have worn, I just want to say I've thrown a lot at these guys. So just to be clear, over the last year and a half, we've traveled thousands and thousands of miles across the US, and we've probably been to something like between 20 and 30 national and state parks, and have done, miles and miles and miles of hiking. So for what I've done, these have actually stood up rather well. So I don't want what I'm about to show you discourage you from getting these, but I also want you to be aware of potential problems with these hiking shoes. All right, without further ado, let's look at what exactly has happened with these shoes. So the first thing I want to start with is the color. So these started out much darker, but we were in Denali National Park up in Alaska for a couple days, and it was very wet. The rain that we experienced for a day straight just sucked all of the dark dye out of these shoes. You could probably help prevent that by spraying it with a waterproof shoe spray, but just be aware of that. They will eventually end up much lighter than what you started with. Next, let's talk about what's happened with the laces. So the laces are a little bit frayed, but they've held up very well. But what I want to talk about is what the laces did to the upper. So let's see if you can see that right there. So the laces in multiple places have actually cut into the shoe right there, and right there they've cut into the fabric. Fortunately, the Gore-Tex liner, which is what GTX in the name stands for, the Gore-Tex has remained intact. Just from general use, you can see we have some cloth that's kind of worn there. I'm not really sure what happened here, but we have quite a big tear there. If we switch to the other shoe, we can see that the sole is starting to come off here on probably the most vulnerable part, these little flaps here, and those are connected to the soles. So eventually water would get down in there, and just from general use, if that's not repaired, the sole is just going to start peeling off. So that is not good. The treads on this are starting to peel a little bit. They're pretty worn at this point. They still pretty well maintain their grip, but they're getting pretty low. Now on the left shoe, we also have some problems with the laces cutting in. And just from general use, the laces are starting to fray. We have the tongue starting to come apart here, probably just from rubbing like so. This is starting to come apart here, and that's just from rubbing against the tongue, rubbing against my foot, I guess. So those are the major problems. Now I will say I've probably hiked well over 100 miles in these, so it's no surprise that this level of degradation is happening. Now there is one thing that is not the shoe's fault. If we go back to the right shoe, you'll notice that I'm missing the adjustment, the plastic adjustment, and that is because I got a little too close to a fire and that melted. In fact, I melted some of the fabric on the tongue there. So with this shoe and any other shoe, especially synthetics, don't get too close to a fire for any length of time. So even though these shoes are pretty much falling apart at this point, I still really like this shoe and I would totally wear them again, but I'm also interested in what else is out there. So if you have a recommendation or you have a specific hiking shoe that you really like, that you'd like to see us test, please put it in the comments below and we'll check it out. And if you'd like to check these shoes out and possibly buy them, we'll put links in the description and in a pinned comment. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already, please subscribe. That helps us make more videos like this in the future. And if you'd like to check us elsewhere on the web, check out our website, terradrift.com. We're also on Facebook at Terradrift. We're on Instagram at Terradrift and patreon.com/Terradrift. Your support means a lot. That's all for this time. Thanks for watching and wander on.